आचार्य श्री माश्रमण जी के चरणों में वंदन करते हुए आप सभी का स्वागत करता हूं। I welcome all our TPF office bearers, members, TPF Spandan team, and all participants in Zoom as well as Facebook. As we all know, Sanjay ji is a versatile personality. However, I would like to introduce him to you all in this brief intro. CA Sanjay Ji Dhariwal is a well-known speaker on direct and indirect taxes, GST, and social issues. He has presented more than 750 papers on VAT and more than 150 papers on GST on various platforms. Apart from being panelist in news channels like CNBC and News9 TV channels, he has also authored and co-authored more than 28 books. He was also nominated for 4 years as members of Indirect Tax Committee of ICAI. He is past national president of our own Therapan Professional Forum, and he is being a chairman of a management college being shortly opened in Siliguri by TPF. In profession, he is a director in many companies like Consulting Private Limited, DNS Realtors Private Limited, Chetty's Corner, AR Technology and Gaming, Fondwise, Salt and Pepper Private Limited. He is also partner in charge of India's largest CA networking firm, Dhariwal Srinivas, and affiliated with more than 22 network partners like practicing CA firms in 24 locations across India. On behalf of everyone present here, I welcome our philosopher and guide, Sri Sanjay Ji Dhariwal, to enlighten us on a very hot topic of the day today, which is COVID-19 impact on individual and SME. I welcome Sanjay Ji and hand over mic to you.
Thank you, Naveen bhai. First of all, I would like to give my humble wishes to TPF for giving me an opportunity to speak here. It's been a long time that I've spoken again on any platforms. I think I've been on a sabbatical for a year and now it's back to work. And nothing like being working during the COVID times. And that's the reason I chose to be in the office when we started off this work. गुरुदेव को वंदना, यहाँ विराजित हमारे इस इलाके में कम्युनिटी को वंदना और भाई और बहनों. Today it's a time when I think in the last 3 generations and in the next 3 generations, this is one time which very few of us would be seeing it. I do not know whether you call it as a pandemic, as what WHO has told. I do not know whether we call it as a pain for most of us because we are locked down, we are feeling handicapped, we are feeling like a lion in the cage and not able to go out. COVID is going to be one thing which I think none of us would forget. And my friends, TPF members, जो मेरे साथ में काठमांडू में थे, जब भूकंप आया था 2015 में, वो भी आप भूल नहीं पाओगे. अगर हम इन दोनों चीजों को भी कंपेयर करते हैं तो शायद वो भूकंप का माहौल ज्यादा भयानक था कोविड से भी, जो वहां पे काठमांडू में थे. एंड इसलिए मेरे ख्याल से जो उस भूकंप को पर्सनली देखे हैं, जो पर्सनली एक्सपीरियंस किए हैं, उनको आज कोविड से इतना भय नहीं लगेगा क्योंकि वहां पे हमें ये पता नहीं था कि कब भूकंप आएगा और कब हम लोग भागेंगे. आज का जो टॉपिक दिया गया है, इट इज in fact I had asked for this topic because when I googled about it I didn't find anybody speaking on this topic. COVID-19 का global impact सबने बात किया है, but when you're talking about COVID-19 का जो common man है, जो middle class man है, जो SME sectors है, जो individuals है, उनके ऊपर क्या बीतेगी. I think the first precaution I would like to give to all the listeners in this particular topic is, one, that you do not have any data of this sort. Second, the world has not experienced a lockdown of this sort ever. I think pandemics come once in a century or so. Last time we had it between 2018 to 20, and now we are having it, 1918 to 20, और अभी हम 2020 में ये pandemic देख रहे हैं, तो 100 साल बाद आ रहा है. But ये lockdown का जो concept है, I think this is the first time that we all are experiencing. And इस lockdown और इस COVID का जो impact होगा, I think इसको हम लोग 2 तरीके से ले सकते हैं. One is an impact by COVID. COVID-19 and the other is an impact from COVID-19. इन दोनों चीजों को हमको समझना बहुत आवश्यक है. What do you mean by COVID-19 का by COVID-19 and what is from COVID-19? सबसे पहले है कि if you're talking about
Sanjay,
yeah?
sorry, I'm disrupting. You have to be a bit loud. I'm receiving messages from multiple people saying that the voice is a bit low.
Okay, I'm sorry about it. Is it better now?
Yeah, it's better now.
Okay, so basically when you're talking about COVID-19, you have to talk about the two aspects of COVID-19, which is very essential to understand how it's going to have an impact on all of us. One is COVID-19, the impact by COVID-19 and from COVID-19. The impact by COVID-19 is going to be your medical impact. The medical impact in terms of that you getting this disease, your close people getting this disease, your colleagues getting this disease, and the recovery of this disease. The COVID-19 by impact would also mean the psychological pain it is going to create in many people's lives. The fear it's going to create. I don't think that anybody around 40 days back had ever thought about walking in the roads and being afraid of getting a disease which can kill you. So this is going to be an impact of COVID by COVID. The impact is going to be very, very huge. And my medical brothers from TPF would be the best persons to advise us on this. But the other area which is also equally important is impact from COVID-19. I think this is one area जहाँ पे हम लोगों ने बहुत कम सोचा है. We have been seeing that there are around 250 deaths, 270 deaths, 280 deaths which are in India today from COVID-19. We have seen that lots of people are dying across the globe because of COVID-19. But we also have to understand that this COVID-19 is going to have a lot of impact in terms of finances, a lot of impact in terms of your mental balances, a lot of impact in terms of your family lives, a lot of impact in terms of your relationship with your customers and all that stuff. So I thought, let me try to make an attempt. And anybody listening to this session, I would only say that please accept it as a fact that I'm making an attempt to understand the subject. I don't think anybody can ever have an understanding of the subject fully because we do not have any expertise on this. We do not have any person who has experienced this sort of a thing in the world. And frankly speaking, and I only wish that none of this generation or the next 3-4 generations ever sees a situation like this in their life. Now, we are talking about this COVID-19 and the impact from it. Now, when it comes to an impact by COVID-19, we talk about health. When we talk about an impact from COVID-19, we talk about the wealth. Now, before we get into this, let us try to understand that how did this whole issue start? How much time did we have to understand this issue? And how many of us really worked for this issue? Probably in November, December was the time when China was infected by it. Probably by January, many people started to be aware that there is a disease called as COVID, which is happening, and there is a virus which is there in China, which is affecting all of us. There was a definite impact, which we all knew in the month of February, that countries like Italy was affected, various other Spain was affected, China was affected, and it was bouncing back. And we all knew that it was spreading very, very fast across the globe. We also heard about lockdowns in China, Wuhan. We also heard about lockdowns or the way they're trying to, various countries are trying to fight this out. But frankly speaking, before the lockdown in India really happened, before that Sunday when we had that Band in India, which actually happened, tell me how many of us really believed that India would get COVID-19? How many of us actually believed that we would be affected from COVID-19? How many of us believed that it would not only affect us in terms of medically, but also it could affect us very badly in terms of economically? And I will not be surprised if all the members sitting here would say that we had not even thought that this would come to India in such a way. We had not thought about a lockdown. We had not thought about it having such a global impact that we would have to be at our homes watching the same faces every day. Now, it may be a good thing that you're not watching different faces, but it's also very tough for us to digest watching the same faces also. Now, when you're talking about this whole thing, then we say that none of us had the experience. Not the Prime Minister had the experience. So there is a debate which is going on very strongly is that COVID-19, whether it required a lockdown at that large scale in India from 21 days to 40 days, whether we actually wanted a lockdown or no, or the lockdown will not have, if the lockdown wouldn't have happened, we wouldn't have had many deaths. But the economic lockdown which is happening can create a lot of death, a lot of problems, a lot of pain to the society. Let's not go into this debate, because the simple reason is that nor you nor I can take a decision which is going to change it. So what we cannot change is something that we should not look into it. The other thing is that most of us have gone too much into the medias, too much into the WhatsApp groups, too much into the social media, too much into the TV news channels, etc. and all. And we are hearing a lot of negativity in this market. So anybody you're talking today is talking negative. कि मेरा क्या होगा, market का क्या होगा, business कैसे होगा, will life be normal? The other issue which is more important is that this lockdown, say, will open on 3rd of May 2020. Hopefully at the end of May 2020, May 3rd, we have the opening of the lockdown. This lockdown is not going to cure the disease. This lockdown is basically going to control the spread of this disease to a limited extent. Now, the bigger question which comes across is that, are we going to see more of these lockdowns? My answer would be probably yes. And even if you find a remedy of this sort, even if you find a medication for this, the vaccinations would take at least around 18 months to 24 months, is what one of my friends told me from Pfizer, who was an ex-Pfizer guy from the US. He said, Sanjay, it's going to take a longer time to get the vaccination. The medications may still come in. So we are not going to be away from this COVID. We may be infected. And this is going to be that we have to change our lifestyles. We'll have to change our business models. We'll have to look into it. Taking this as the basic preamble of today's discussion, I think we'll have to look into it. Is one basic fact that we are talking today is without any data. Let us be honest, none of us have data that in such a situation of a lockdown, what would be an impact on the businesses? I think none of us have it. We do not have a precedence in the past to say that the world had a lockdown and this is what it has happened across. We don't have any one person who has experienced this sort of an impact. China has experienced it somewhere in the month of Jan, and we don't trust them. We don't believe in the data. So basically, we will not get into it there. So basically, this is a session which is going to be futuristic. And as Sanjay Jain says that there should be something with a pinch of salt, I would also say that this session also could be taken as a pinch of salt. The objective of choosing this particular session for the SME segment is because by 2023, you'll have around 390 million people who are going to be a population which is going to be into the SME sector or middle class sector. That means to say 39 crore people in India would be in the middle class segment. 24% of India's unemployment rate is going to be very, very high, which we have to struggle and handle it across. We have got an SMEs of around 7 crore MSMEs in India today. So this 7 crore people is the target what we are trying to talk about today. In addition to the individuals, basically the middle class people, and 12 crore people which this MSMEs basically employ. So if you see the 12 crores plus 7 crores, it comes to around 19 crores. And 19 crore families are going to be dependent as far as the impact what is going to happen into this COVID-19. And this is something for us to understand across. So when we talk about this, the first question which comes across is that has the world actually changed? आज अगर हम देखने जाए तो दुनिया बदली नहीं है, हम बदल चुके हैं. हमारा रहन सहन बदल चुका है, हमारा style of talking to people, meeting people. I think there's so much of beautiful innovations which has also come in across. My first and sincere advice to all of you would be is that what has happened has happened. What is going to happen is something that most of us would not be able to change it, except a few people who are going to be at the administration of the various countries would be able to change it. Most of us would not be able to change it. Let us not be negative. I think at this particular point of time, we should remember Acharya Mahapragya Ji. Just 2 days back, we had his Mahapran Divas, so I think I should pay my homage to him also. And we should learn the most beautiful mantra which Acharya Mahapragya Ji gave us, the mantra of being positive. When we are seeing these all things negatives, when you're seeing the news negatives, when you're seeing the daily impact of the spread being negative, it's time that our mindsets could be that we get into a negative format in life. Let us not get negative. I think the first principle that every person, whether it's a large corporate or an MSME or an individual, whomever we are talking to today, the first thing that he has to do is that he has to learn to be positive. He has to accept the fact that the world is changing and the way businesses are going on is also going to change. The next important aspect, which is also going to be very important, is with regard to the lifestyles of people. How many of us, at least a person like me, can confirm it across that in this 40 days, I've not traveled a single day? The last time that it had happened was probably around 12, 15 years back when I was not into social activities. But I think in the last 12 years, even when I had my most critical health ailments, I have traveled in less than 40 days. So we have changed our travel plans. But still, today I'm able to connect to around 500,000 people through this media. So I think my outreach is still there, which I wouldn't have done it even by traveling across the country. So the whole concepts of the world changing, the way things are going to change, the way people are being talking, and the amount of time which we have got today. So when we're talking about the businesses today, I think the first thing that we have to do today is that we'll have to basically do an introspect. Now, what do you mean by an introspect? I think hardly any of us have had time to spend on ourselves from last decades of what we have been living across. But this is a time when you have got so much of time with yourself, actually speaking. And there, if you're talking about the impact on MSMEs, we'll have to also look into this very, very fact of this to say that what is it that it is going to have and what is the introspect that we'll have to do. The first introspect is that we'll have to understand that where do we stand today? What was our business pre-COVID times? What was our status during the lockdown period? And probably what would be our status post the lockdown is lifted? We'll also have to basically structure into various factors to say that during this period of lockdown, when it is lifted across, there is a possibility of seeing many more such lockdowns which may come in, depending on how the disease is going to spread into the country of ours. We'll also have to understand one thing, that marriages are changing. Temples are closed. Bars are also closed, luckily. So there are so many things which have changed people's lifestyle. People have understood to say that we can be without liquor. People have understood to say that, fine, I know that these all things are not there. I need not travel so much. I can still sit at home and do it. The first thing that you'll have to understand is that post the lockdown, where would my business stand? I think we'll have to spend a lot of time understanding this. Meet your consultants across on this particular aspect. The second thing is that don't be negative to say that this 40 days I had to pay my salaries, this 40 days I had to pay my rentals, this 40 days I had to incur so many of the fixed costs. Now, how am I going to recover this? Am I going to be 2 years behind my regular time? This is going to take me 2 to 3 years behind, or it's going to take 2, 3 years to be where I am today. And these are going to be challenges, which is going to be a fact. Let us understand this, that yes, probably at least 2 to 3 years we are behind ourselves. Now, the important aspect that we have to understand is that we have to do an introspect of our business. The first introspect that you'll have to do is that where do I stand as far as my business is concerned? Second, how many of you have visited your stores or your shops or your offices in this last 40 days? I'll just give you a simple example about my office. We have closed down from the day the lockdown was announced, and 4 or 5 days I had also not come to my office because I stay very near to my office. And suddenly I realized that there was a milk which was there in the bowls, there was tea which was made into the bowls and kept across. There were a lot of things in the office which were not washed across. Imagine that after 40 days, if you come across, how many of diseases would have been spread into your whole office by viruses because you have not kept your office clean. How many of you have gone to your office to see that whether there are rats or no, whether there's your boots are protected over there, your files are protected over there, your equipments are protected over there. I think this is also something that we'll have to look at. You may say that there's a lockdown. How do I go to my offices? I'm sure many of us have still been moving around. At least in this last number of days of lockdown, I have been out of my house every day. Though I've been more into the social activities of it, but yeah, I have been outside my house. Even today, I'm in the office just talking about it. So I think we'll have to also look into it, that is our offices safe? There have been lots of cases which has come across wherein they say that there have been thefts in various offices in Bangalore at least. So when people who are on a hand-to-mouth survival, when they're not going to get food regularly, when they're not going to get a social security, which we lack from the government's angle, so point of view. to survive, to make their families survive, they may take some harsh steps of getting into things which they would have normally never done. That is robbing, stealing, or even mugging people across to get money for themselves to survive. So this is something that you'll also have to look into it. After that, you'll have to understand is that what business are you into it? And you'll have to take a fair view of to say that if I'm into an X business, I have to see is that how is it just basically going to impact? Let's take a simple case about the airlines industry. It is a very large industry. None of us are part of the airlines industry, but a few of us would be into the ticketing industry, which will also have an impact on us. Initially, they said that post 15, the airlines would start working. After that, they said that from 3rd of May, the airlines would start working. And now Indigo has said that till 30th of May, they would not be starting the operations and the bookings have been cancelled across. So this is one aspect that the airlines industry is also now trying to understand, that people have learned to work from home. People have learned to do meetings. I have been talking about doing a webinar for TPF from a long time, but how many webinars had we had before this lockdown? I'd like to appreciate Sril and Nirmalji, the president of TPF, for taking up this initiative of using technology to spread across the messages. And thousands of people are benefited by this by visiting these talks and listening to these talks. But these are the things that if people get used to it, just imagine the impact. The impact would be on the airlines industries. The impact would be on the sale of aviation fuel. The impact would be on the booking agencies which are into it. The impact would be on the travel agencies. There would be an impact on the hotel industries. And every industry which is associated with these industries are going to be affected. Now, this is one simple case of an airlines industry which would not even be 1% of your GDP probably. So what would be the overall impact on various industries is something that we have to look into it. Which industry am I into? Now, let's take a simple example of a chartered accountants industry. As a service provider, as a consultant. Now, 80% of my clientels are those clientels which are on a retainership basis, which may not be the case with an advocate. So there would be a difference between a chartered accountant and an advocate today. But the 20% of the clients which are on my on a consultancy basis, wherein it is going to be on a case-to-case that I charge across. Now, that impact of revenues are going to be affected. The 80% of the revenues which are going to be on the retainership is going to be deferred for at least around 2 to 3 months time, when they may come or may not come to me for those services. And then the other impact would be is the collection of fees. If I have been providing services to my client from the last 25, 26 years, and I have raised invoices, that would be at least an outstanding of around 1 year of bills of mine for my clients. Now that monies, now they would have an option to say that Sanjay Bhai, today the fees we are not able to pay you, which was due to be paid in March, April, May, we'll need at least 6 months to 1 year's time because we are not getting our collections, which can also be denied. In 2008, I realized that when the global economy was in the recession mode or it was on a collapse mode, India was not actually affected. But every major client of ours in 2008 came back to us to say that, look, there is a recession, there is a cost cutting which is going on. So we have to cut into the chargeability of yours. We'll have to reduce your fees for whatever work we are doing. So this is going to be a major challenges as a consultant, that people would start coming to you for the earlier billed services to say that we are going to reduce it, we are going to defer it, we are going to pay you later. And for the new services, they are going to negotiate it across. So do you mean to say that there's going to be a fall in revenues for a CFO? Frankly, no. I would take it the other way around. That this COVID-19 is also going to give me a lot of opportunities to basically get into consultancy. There would be so many businesses today, like the MSME sectors today, which we talk about or we are taking about. Today, they have to be basically explained as to that, do I pay the rent to my landlords? This is something that when my closed period was that, do I pay the rent or can I avoid paying the rent? Can I use the clauses of saying that the act of God has happened, so based on the act of God, the force majeure clause could come in and I need not pay the rent? The second question comes is that, do I pay the salaries to my staff? Now, this is a very, very crucial and sentimental issues. On the human side, everybody would agree that we should pay the salaries to our staff because of the fact that they are not responsible for this COVID. They are also poor people. They also have to be taken care of. The government is also insisting that please do not stop the payment of salaries to your staff. Please pay the salaries to them because they need it, and otherwise it's going to be a big loss for the country. But then the question comes is that how much is the government willing to waive my expenses? There are so many services that the government does to me. Is it going to waive off those costs to me? No. If you see today, we are in probably a situation where the governments are all empty with the fund flows. They do not have enough of money to basically help us in coming out with the rehabilitation scheme as far as COVID-19 is concerned. What all they had to do with regard to the daily ledger, wages, getting the monies deposit, etc. and all. We have still been expecting a lot of hope that the MSME sector would be benefited by the government across. The basic thing that they have come across is to say that the GST can be deferred in case of people with less than 5 crores turnover. You need not pay the taxes now, you can pay it in the month of June, and the interest is waived off. In case your turnover is above 5 crore rupees, you can defer the payment, but you'll have to pay a 9% interest. Now, as an MSME now today, the first question which my clients are asking me today is that, do I defer this payment or do I pay the money if I have the money? If you do not have the money, you have no options. You don't even have to think about it whether I have to pay it or not. But if I have the money, should I pay it or should I not pay it? One thing you understand is that if you're going to defer your March expenditure, you're going to defer your May expenditure and wait for June to come across and pay the monies, you can be sure of your fund flow imbalances happening, because a lump sum amount going in the month of June, you would definitely not have the money. None of the businesses today are working on a cash model. I was talking to a friend of mine who's also a TPF member, and he was telling that today, in today's market, what is going to be is cash is going to be a king. If you're talking about the lockdown period and today, I think in this 25 days or which we have seen across, the markets in many of the stocks have recovered by 20%. So if you had the money after the major fall which happened and you had invested into the stock markets, probably you would have made a lot of money. So cash is going to be a king, but also there is a lot of risk factors involved with it. Now, the question comes across is that as an MSME, what are the areas that I look into it? The first area which I look into it is to say that I look into my balance sheet to say that how healthy is my present balance sheet. The second important factor that I look into it is that after seeing how healthy is my balance sheet is, I try to find out where can I look at my expenses where I can cut my cost. I think this is going to be a major area which you'll have to sit down, you'll have to scratch your head, you'll have to sit with your team, and उनके साथ आपको बैठ के ये देखना पड़ेगा, each and every line item को आपको देखना पड़ेगा कि मैं खर्चे कहाँ कम कर सकता हूँ. How much I can reduce my travel, how much I can reduce my donations, how much I can reduce my hotel expenses, how much I can reduce my entertainment expenditures, how much I can reduce my salaries. Now, this is going to be again a question of whether I should do it or no. I think this is one of the most debatable issues, is to say that for 30 days, 40 days, and assuming that it is going to be a 3 months lockdown, should I pay the salaries for 3 months when I've not got the money? If my employee is suffering, as an employer, am I not suffering because I've got my fixed cost, my rentals are there, my fixed expenses are there, which I'm either way paying, my AMCs I'm paying, which I'm not using it across. So all these costs which I'm incurring it across, now if I am not able to survive, will my employee either way survive? This is something I think the best option which is available to all of us is to look into it, to say that when you're talking about your employee cost, be very sensitive to it. Today, the 3 months, say, or 2 months, if you are not paying if you're paying the salaries to them, what is the guarantee that they continue to be with you? The second question is that if I do not pay them the salary, what is the loyalty and the love and the affection and the regard he would have to your organization, that during good times, if he gets a better opportunity, he will not shift his votes and get into a different vote just because of the fact that you did not take care of him when he also wanted you on the more side. So you have to understand this particular aspect, that when you're talking about your employee and you're talking about you, we all are in a financial mess today. And that is a fact. And let us accept it, that even if we get into a negative net worth today, it is not something to be very worried about. Please don't take an emotional strain on this. If you're going to be positive, if you're going to be focused on what you have to do, if you're going to see on your cost cutting, I'm sure you would be able to cut your cost by at least 20 to 30%. And that is a very, very important area that you have to look into. The second area is on the fixed cost. Now, the fixed cost, if you can negotiate it with your landlord, if you can negotiate it with your service providers, if you're able to negotiate it with the various areas, every industry would have a different fixed cost and a variable cost. I would not get into that, but that is something that you'll have to look into it across. Any questions on the employee segment of how do you handle it, how people are looking out? whether I pay 50% of the salary now and the 50% I pay it as a deferred method so that I can able to retain my clients, whether I cut off on my incremental for my staff, whether I cut off on the bonuses for my staff, whether I ask a voluntary contribution from my staff to say that how much are you going to forgo the salary. I think these has to be taken on a case-to-case basis, understanding the industry in which you are, number of people you are employed, what is your employee cost, and how are you going to, how your employees are going to react to it is going to be very, very important. The next important area is on the revenue side. You'll have to first see is that how much of the impact is going to happen on my sales or on my gross collections. This is going to be a very, very crucial issue. Whether this 45 days lockdown has only deferred my revenues or it has actually reduced my revenues. Let's take the case of a hotel industry or a restaurant, which I'm also part of a restaurant industry. I have seen that if today I was wanting to eat a masala dosa, tomorrow, if after 45 days, if it is going to open, or after 40 days, it's going to open, I'm not going to have 41 masala dosas. I may still go on the first day and have 2 masala dosas, but again, I may not have it for another 2-3 days. So there are certain things which are going to be, are required as of today. If it is deferred, it cannot be deferred, it will be cancelled. So there are certain industries like the hotel industries which are going to be affected. There are certain industries like the barbers industries or the saloons which are going to be affected. There are people who are going to think twice to go to a saloon because there were rumors to say that a saloon has infected a COVID patient and because of that everybody was under the quarantine period. So you are going to have various issues to say that should I take that risk of risking my life to look better? I think many of them, there's a saying to say that many of them have stopped taking selfies. I took most of my selfies in my life is in this last 25 days because I went for a new pandemic look on myself. And many of you might have not even recognized me on this particular aspect. So this is going to be the other area. The other important area that MSME has to look into is on the fact of the revenue angle. How do I create new opportunities on the revenues across? This is going to be a very, very important area. The next area which I would like to focus is that I have various suppliers who give me credit limits. Now, the question would be that they would also like to believe that cash is king and they would also like to say that we are going to give you in cash. Now, it is going to be on your negotiation skills, either your personal skills or your consultant skills, whose help you can take it across, to see that you start negotiating with your suppliers to say that you would need an additional credit time limit. Let it be with your bankers, let it be with your suppliers, let it be with your employees. Probably you'll have to look into this particular aspect. Understand one thing, that even your supplier knows, even your people who provide you services know one particular fact, that if you do not survive, even they will not survive. And this is a very, very golden principle that we all have to understand. And there would be a lot of compromises. And this is something that we'll have to look into it very, very strongly to say that, yes, I will have to negotiate it. The other important aspect is, just like you believe that if you do not survive, your suppliers would not survive, your creditors would not survive, the same would be applicable with your debtors. The people whom you supply your goods also would have a lot of impact as far as the fixed cost which they are carrying it across. Their fund flows would also going to be affected. And you should also understand the fact that if they do not survive, how would you survive? A thumb rule could be that, okay, fine, I would basically withdraw my credit limits to them because cash is king. I would like to work on cash models and see that I sell more on that. But then please understand one thing, that if you're going to insist on your old recoveries, if you're going to insist on cash only, you may not only lose your business, but even the outstandings which are there with them can have a serious impact, because when they would not be able to survive, the next option they have got to is to lift their hands up to say, "Main diwala nikalunga, I cannot pay you across." And this is going to be much more serious for you. So when you're talking about your debtors, you're talking about your creditors, you're talking about your service providers, these are the areas where you have to relook into it. And that is why I said, you'll have to do an introspection of your business today. When you talk about an introspection of your business, you'll have to look into which probably we are supposed to do it on a very regular basis. I think many large organizations have a system of having a MIS, wherein you every month you review your performances, every month you see each segments and see that across. But majority of the MSMEs don't do that. And that is the place where I think it is time that we set up those systems to say that every month I would start reviewing my business performances to basically see what I'm performing today, how I'm performing today, and this is going to be your challenges. You're going to have a lot of losses of friends also. Please understand this particular fact. When you're into business, everybody is a fair weather friend. Most of your business friends are your fair weather friends. When you're doing well, they come to you. When somewhere they feel that you're not doing very well, they would like to jump to a person who's doing very well. There are some of the employees who are going to be fair weather friends with you. They would only see that, okay, you have paid me my salary for the last 3 months. No, I know I'm not going to get increments. I'm going to have a cut in my salaries. And if I get a competitor of mine who is going to offer him better, you would just shift the boat and get across over that. So you may have the real pictures of people with whom you're dealing with, which you wouldn't have seen it earlier, would be what you would be seeing it across. And this is also going to be your major challenges. I would say that in a nutshell, this is what would be from the business perspective that I would like to look into it. And then in case you are into an annualized contract with certain clients of yours, where you are providing services, you are into contracts, etc., please review those contracts. Please see the legal language of your contract. I think you'll have to also employ good advocates into your businesses today to see that, because most of us would not have put the force majeure clauses in most of our business agreements across. And that is something that we'll have to put across. And this is going to be the areas where we are going to look. Just imagine that a person who is into the pharmaceutical business and he had not had enough of stock during this period, he would have lost a lot of opportunity. When I spoke to my pharma friends, majority of them said that they were dumped with stocks in the month of March, before 15th of March itself, because the companies had their annual year endings. And this would have been the case with many of the dealers. Now, most of the stocks are being sold off, but you'll be surprised to see that very few people are falling ill. So the major diseases or the people precautions which are taking are painkillers, fever, cold, cough, etc., or something to be related to COVID, or sanitizers, or masks, etc. But you're not having much sales of the other areas. There are hospitals which are worried today that how many people would like to come. Like supposing if they have opened their doors open to say that we are willing to treat the COVID patients also on behalf of the government, we are willing to give our services to them. Many of the hospitals in Bangalore who opted for this service to the government have lost lots of patients because people said that you're going to get COVID patients, so we don't want to come and take that risk of coming and getting it. We'll go to another private hospital which is not going to have any COVID patients across all that. But how do you know that a COVID patient has come or no? A small hospital in Wilson Garden in Bangalore was having a patient who was infected with COVID. Now see the impact. They were not into the government services to say that we are going to take care of the COVID patient. So you do not know which type of patients are going to come. But this is going to happen. So you have to take very good care about your image and your brand building. Many of them have reduced their cost in terms of marketing and expenses, saying that today, whatever marketing or the expenses you're doing or the advertisements you're doing, you can cut it short today because you don't have to spend, because there are not much of events, number one. Like take the cases of hotel industries today. How many conferences would be there? How many people would like to attend the conference also? I'm sure just because of the technology and the webinars we are doing it, people are listening. If TPF would have said that how many would like to come to listen to Sanjay in person, I don't think even 5 or 10 people would have come. So forget the risk of being arrested for having a public conference. You would not come because the fear in you is that to say that I could be affected by this disease when I go to a public platform. And this fear is going to continue for next 6 months to 1 year for sure. So all those industries which are into conferences, which are into events, which are into basically gifts and all that stuff, are those industries which are going to suffer. Pharmaceutical industries who were able to shift the production lines into sanitizations and all those areas where the demand is high, or the mask, ready-made garments industries who shifted in the road and all for PPEs and masks, they would be doing wonderful business as they were able to substitute. Today, a small mask of, I just got an imported mask with me with an MRP price of around, I'll just show the mask. Now, basically, what is this material? This, the MRP, they say is around 250 rupees. Now, is it really worth 250 rupees? Now, the cost is very high, low, but today we purchase it blindly because we believe that we want security, that 250 rupees is not the criteria. I want to survive. So there are a fear psychology which is going to be there also into your businesses also, and that is one area that you have to look into. So in a nutshell, I would leave it more for the question answer series as far as the impact on MSMEs are concerned, because many of you would have questions which are going to be related only to your industry or your business segment or your businesses, which I would like to take it on if time permits and Sri permits me. The other segment of mine was the COVID impact on individuals. I think this is also a very, very important area that we have to deal with today. That as individuals, what does it happen in terms of health, I leave it to my doctor brothers of TPF to take up these issues and discuss of how to safeguard ourselves. But when it comes to the impact from COVID-19, I think there are a huge impact. Now, before this COVID issues had happened, how many of us were having a desire in life to say that 5 days, 10 days, I don't want anybody to disturb me. I would just like to be at home and relax, be with my family, spend time with my family. I think COVID-19 has given you a great opportunity in life of spending time with your family, playing carom with them, playing chess with them, playing Ludo with them, playing online games with your friends across the country or the globe. So this is going to be the way you look at life. There's a glass of water in my hand today. I can say it is half empty or half full. Well, it is the way we look at it. Similarly, what is more important is that the way we look out at life today. Do we want to live in fear or do we want to live happily? I think if you are going to be positive, this is going to be the most beautiful time in your life. Beautiful time, forget the revenue aspect of it. I think we all are capable. Indians are the Jugaad kings, I would say, in the world. And anything of this sort, we will just take 5 days once the lockdown is opened and we will be back to normal. We have seen this when we had an attack in Bombay. People were back to normal in a few days' time, which in any other country would have taken months together to come out of that psychology. I think Indians are fantastic in this particular aspect. And if we are going to be positive, this is going to be a great time. You have time to spend. Don't spend more into eating unwanted things. I think this is something that we'll have to look into this aspect to say that how many of us are actually looking at the physical fitness aspect. Please understand, by COVID, you may not be affected, but from COVID, you could affect your health very badly in terms of bad health, in terms of not doing your exercises, not doing your workouts, warm-ups, you're not doing your physical activities, etc., consuming more of things just because you have nothing else to do. I think the first thing that you have to take care is health. The second thing, which is also equally important, is on your soul aspect. You'll have to also take care of the soul. I think this is a time when you can do a lot of meditations, a lot of tyag, a lot of fastings, a lot of samaiks, and a lot of books to read. I only wish that JVP had sent the books of Acharya Mahapragyaji's, that 121 series of books, and we all would have loved to have spent the time reading those books in this 40 days of lockdown. Anyway, they also had the challenges of selling it across because the books were just ready and the transports were closed, etc. But the books which you have at home, let it be spiritual books, let it be books which are related to business, let it be books which are related to pleasure, fun. Please read. Please put in a beautiful habit of reading. And this is the wonderful time when I would say avoid watching televisions and news, particularly avoid reading newspapers because they are going to make you negative. Read books on spirituality, read books on businesses, read books on the traits of various leaders of the business organizations, and it will make you more positive. And that is something like meditations, etc., is what you have to do it across. If you have the time, if you have the money, and if you believe in it, you also get into the social service. I think that is a very, very important area. I'll just give you a simple example about the Bangalore Jito serving around 50,000 food packets a day till 14th of April, and now we are doing around 23,000 food packets a day. Believe me, if that 50,000 food packets would have not gone for the daily wages worker, you would have had a very high crime rate in Bangalore. At least around 1,000 to 2,000 people from this 50,000 people would have got into an act of crime because they wouldn't have been able to take care of their family, themselves, and they would not have liked to die of hunger. So these are going to be the challenges where we'll have to get involved into social activities. If we fear about our life, don't get physically involved into it. Try to contribute it financially. If you believe in that you can do it in physically, you also try to see that you serve across, identify people, do it. I think this is a challenge, not only the responsibility of the government. We have to understand that India is a poor country. We have a poor government. They have limited resources, and they also have a hand-to-mouth survival, which at least MSME segments are not into hand-to-mouth survivals. They're much better off. So in that aspect, every individual has to come out of it and do it across. We'll have to look at our daily wages people. We'll have to look out at people with the lower salary segment and see that we take care of them. We also have to look into the basic facts of one important area is that after this what? I think one thing that we all have to understand is that it's time we change. It's time we adopt to changes. It's time that we start looking out at things which are differently. It's time that we come up with innovations. I think this is going to be the period which will have the maximum innovations in the world. Why? Because you have the time, you have a free mind. If you are not going to be negative, if you're not going to be depressed about what has happened to your businesses in the last 15, 20 days, what is going to happen in the next 6 months, believe me, you are into wonderful times. I think I have reached around 45 minutes of talk, Shril, and I would like to basically leave the session more for question answers, because I believe that would be the areas which we would have to look into it. In addition to this, I would say that do crazy things. I have done a crazy thing. I think after 24, 25 years, I've left a beard, and I'm enjoying it. I don't bother about what people say. So the best thing that you'll have to also understand this factor is that do things which are crazy, get along with your family, friends, chat, make calls to people, get virtually closer to people again whom you have not been done, introspect about yourself, what you wanted to be in life, where you are standing today, how would you like to go about. I think a beautiful time for us. Sreel, I leave the house open, and any questions?
Thank you, Bia. This was a wonderful deliberation on how the things are going to be post-COVID. So I'll start taking up the questions one by one. One of the questions that we have is from Sanjay Kumar Jainji, who asks, post-COVID-19, confidence and trust factor among our customer and the supplier chain. How do you visualize that?
There would be two scenarios which we can look into it. One, where the fear of COVID will remain after the lockdown is lifted up, where the vaccinations have not yet come out, and probably you may have certain medications which can relieve you or can help you recover, but there would still be a fear of getting the disease. In that scenario, you will have a low confidence as far as life is concerned. So there would be a lot of negativity. The second scenario would be that when the lockdown is lifted up, you can be assured that there's a treatment which is available, and the vaccine would be coming in around a year or 1.5 years time. Once you are getting those vaccines and you know that there is a treatment available, and when you know, there will be a lot of positivity with it. And believe me, the world has not closed. We are still living. In fact, I would say that we are living at 60% down of our personal expenses also. Other than the fixed expenses today, we have started enjoying a life at 40% of what we were spending earlier. So I think it's a great way that we realize that we can live without pizzas, especially in your Delhi cases where your Pizza Hut guys got infected and or the others got quarantined. Well, it's going to be, the confidence is definitely going to be there. And Indians are very fast in adapting. I think that's one of the most beautiful things about our country.
Right. We have a question from, it's rather a request from Yashji. A question from Yashji. What benefits do you expect from the Finance Ministry to be rolled out immediately for the SME and individuals?
To be very crude in this language, I would say a beggar cannot give much. And I think with the 3.7 lakh crores of benefit they've given to the 80 crore people who are the major old banks, they've taken care of it. The disguised 1.7 lakh crores benefit, which the RBI has given in phase 1, which looks to be very beautiful, but was not so beautiful because it was only a deferment of your EMIs and installments. And when you're talking about the MSME, they still have to come out with a package. They're thinking about it. I think one of the suggestions what I would love to give the government is that don't bother about the currency valuation of Indian rupee today. Even if you have to print around, say, 50 lakhs or 20 lakh crores of money, please print that 20 lakh crores of money, circulate it into the economy. What would happen? From 76 rupees, 77 rupees of the currency, we would get it to 90 to 100 rupees of the USD. It doesn't matter. But when you see the flow of money which is going to happen, which is very important, the confidence will come into the industry. And MSMEs, I think they should come out with certain schemes to say that last 3 years, how much tax I have paid. 25% of the tax I paid in the last 3 to 4 years. Give me a credit against my tax liabilities in terms of GST, in terms of income tax. If that itself is given to me, MSMEs will come into a very different. I think one blunder what the government actually did was giving that 1,60,000 crores tax benefits to large corporates who are making huge profits in the reduction of corporate tax. I think if that would have not happened, you would have had that 1,60,000 crores available for the MSMEs, which we could have done a wonderful job in this particular time. And that is enough to boost the economy. If you see the stock markets also, You have the FIIs which are withdrawn. You have the local domestic investment institutions which are invested into the stock markets. The impact may be just around 50,000, 60,000 gap. But see the way the markets fell. I think if that 50, 60,000 crores or 1 lakh crore comes into the form of liquidity into the market, you could have an amazing market for you. The MSMEs would definitely survive.
We have a question from our national past president, Shri Salil Ji Loda.
Jai Janendra Salil bhai?
Just a moment. In that case, I'll just unmute.
No, it's okay. He heard me. That's fine.
Okay. Okay. So his question is this, Sanjay ji, क्या हम इस कोविड-19 को अपनी नई अपॉर्चुनिटी की ओपनिंग का अवसर माने? अगर हाँ, तो क्या हमें हमारी वर्किंग स्टाइल और थॉट प्रोसेस को बदलना होगा? हमें क्या सावधानियां या जुगाड़ अगले 6 महीने तक रखनी होंगी?
Sir, when you don't have an option, you only have to enjoy it. I think this is one of the most beautiful things in life that you have to understand. Salil bhai, I would say yes, COVID-19 is going to give a great opportunity to people like you who are into the consulting business. आपके जितने भी क्लाइंट्स हैं सबको आपकी जरूरत है. अभी टाइम निकालो, एक दिन उनके साथ भी बैठो, एक दिन बैठ के इनका बिजनेस समझो आप, और उनके बिजनेस समझ के उनको वो एडवाइस दो कि वो कैसे आगे सुधर जाए, कैसे वो इस चक्रव्यूह से निकल के और आगे अच्छा कर पाए, कैसे उनके बिजनेसेस को बढ़ा पाए. I think that will give you a lot of business. Don't bother about the fees that you may lose in the 20-30 days. Do it free of cost consultancies for them. If they are your regular clients, do a free of cost consultancy for them, because if they do not survive, you are not going to survive. And as far as what are the changes you'll have to do, you will have to use technology today. Like TPF is using technology today in this webinars, I think we'll have to use technologies. And believe me, if this was done around 7-8 years back, during my term, during your term, or during Prakash's terms or Narendra Bhai's term, you could have had every session of ours. You need not have to travel to 20 different cities to deliver lectures. One lecture itself would have caught the audience wherever who wanted to across. And as far as looks are concerned, I already came out with a new look. I would suggest you also to come out with a new look.
Okay. We have a request now from Surendra Barmecha ji, who says, sir, on behalf of us, can you please forward a request to waive off gross GST liability for a few working days of March 2020?
Sir,
this was just a request for him.
Yeah, we don't mind doing that request from TPF. We have a cell of GST cell, and we definitely would not mind doing it. But is it going to solve your solutions? The moment you say that you don't have to pay the GST, are you going to refund it back to your clients? And this is going to have a very serious impact of saying that GST waiver chahiye humko. And for a few days, it would not have a very high impact, because assuming that you're in an 18% slab also, your few days of turnover, say around 10 days of turnover, or say even 30 days of turnover, would be only 8.33% of your turnover. And उसके ऊपर अगर आप 18% या 20% भी ले लो तो 1.6% का impact आपके business पे पड़ेगा, ज़्यादा नहीं पड़ेगा आपको. And that is also something that you're collecting from a customer who gets an input tax credit. Only when you're delivering it to a customer who is a direct consumer, he may benefit across, which you have already collected, which the government will say, I will not give you a benefit for it. The deferment scheme also, I personally am advising my clients, if you have the funds, don't go for a deferment.
Right. Thank you. We have a question from Sailesh Jain ji, who says, what can we do to make India look appealing to the world as an opportunity for replacement to China?
See, these are all sentimental issues today. Most of the countries in the globe fear or believe that China was responsible for this. Being a Jain, I would not say that they created this disease and spread the disease. But being a business consultant, I would definitely say that they suppress the spread of this disease, which even they accept and the world accepts. And if they have suppressed this, also has led to lots of deaths in countries like Italy, US, Spain, etc. And this is something that sentimentally people would like to move away from a person whom they do not trust. So the trust factors on Chinese has come down. And India can take a global advantage of this. But for that, we again have to come out with schemes which the government has to work very strongly to say that we should give them a manufacturing facility, give them the incentives what China was giving them earlier. You cannot expect that Japanese government would give a $2.2 trillion benefit to its companies to set up the parallel thing away from China. I think India has to also attract them. And for attracting anybody, you'll have to be more lucrative, you'll have to be more beautiful. And for that, Just making talks would not be enough. You'll have to give them infrastructure. You'll have to come out with laws which says that if you're setting up an industry here, we'll give you a single window service. Tomorrow, there will not be a problem on the land which you have registered. You'll not have a problem like what you had in Calcutta when Tata's wanted to come out with a nano manufacturing unit. I think these mindsets of our government and the fear of our red tapeism is something which can keep the investors not coming into India. But if you see the talent what India has, if you see the people what India have, we are supplying the brains to the world. The largest companies in the world are basically being dominated by Indians today. That means we have the infrastructures of brains. But what we lack is a good government, a positivity of the government. If we are able to remove those red tapeisms, if we are opening up the doors and saying that we will give you, I'm sure you will have billions of dollars coming in and huge opportunities for all of us to work.
Great. Thank you, Bhaiya. From Dr. Neelam Jain. Dr. Neelam Jain is the Vice President of TPF Bikaner. We have a question.
Pranam Neelamji. She's an educationist also.
Acha, very nice. Okay. So, shouldn't the bank interest and fixed electricity charges be discontinued or brought down to minimal levels for lockdown period instead of giving option to pay them at a later date?
So yeah, when it comes to commercial establishments, your electricity bills have come down to minimum level as only the monthly rentals because you have not used your office, your educational institutes at all. It has been closed. So you're going to get a minimum bill itself of the monthly rentals. Waiver of this, please understand one thing. Whether you talk about the central government, you talk about the state government, you talk about the municipalities, you talk about the public sectors which we have. All of them, are they really having funds? Like today, I'm talking about Karnataka. We have the KSRTC, we have the BMTC, etc. They've got 1,20,000 employees. Because the buses and the routes have been closed, they are not having any collections. They do not have money to pay the salaries for their own employees. Now, what all investments they have done, the infrastructure investments they have done, they have to survive. Just like you and I have to survive, even the governments have to survive, even the public sectors have to survive. Probably the deferment schemes can come in, wherein they can also approach the banks to say that give us a higher loan. In fact, the banking institutions, I'm very sad to say that they're just going with a 25% increment of your working capital limits which they have got. I think this is a time not for 25% working limits. It is around 50% is minimum what the MSMEs required today as a loan factor. With regard to EMIs, RBI what I said is a deferment scheme, which may be easier for you to say that, okay, fine, the deferment has happened for 3 months, but the 3 months deferment which you're going to do could end up into a 6 months of extra payments you'll have to do as far as your EMIs are concerned. Because the interest on interest which is going to be calculated is going to be much higher for you. So you'll have to relook into saying that what was offered to you was only a cosmetic look or actually it was the beauty of it.
Thank you, Bhaiya. We have a question from our National General Secretary, Sri Sushil Ji Jain.
Pranam Sushil.
To what extent do you believe that our faith and action based on Jain philosophy can come to our rescue in these hard times? And along with it, I'll take one more question. Mahesh Jain ji has asked, will current lockdown give us impetus to look at the Jain concept of aparigraha? Because these are similar questions, so I thought that I'll ask both the questions together.
Perfectly fine. I think Sushil Bhai is a better person to answer this question because he is much more into philosophy than me. But since he's asked this question, I'll make an attempt to answer Sushil Bhai. But मैं ये जानता हूँ कि आपके पास उसका जवाब ज़्यादा अच्छा रहेगा. Let us understand one important aspect. That disease can be of two types. One which is acquired and one which comes out of our karmas. So the Jain philosophy of it is the fact to say that as far as you are doing the rituals of your karmas, etc., and if you are doing good activities, you are doing punyai, and if you are not doing lots of pap, definitely you would not be affected much. You may give an example to say that Spain, Italy, US are all non-veg eating countries, so they have been affected more, India has not been affected. I will not get into that because I don't believe in that factor. But yes, as far as your karma-based diseases are concerned, definitely. But Acharya Mahapragya ji, in one of his books, which I was reading in this lockdown was, he said that either it comes through karmas or it also, the smaller disease comes on its own because of the caution which we do not take. Like I have a habit of eating a kulfi and that I have a coffee and then on that I have a juice. And if I get a cough and cold, it is not my karma which is involved. It is my purshad which I did today is involved into it. And that is why it is going to affect me across. So the smaller versions of diseases are going to be based on your purshads also, circumstances also. Heavy rains, if you get drenched, you're going to catch a cold and fever. But that doesn't mean that that is because of your karmas. That is because of the probable purushats or the factors which you are doing it across. Now, what was the second question? Which Mahesh had asked?
Mahesh had asked, will the current lockdown give us impetus to look at the Jain concept of aparigraha?
Normally what happens is that when you go to a crematorium and when you're out of the crematorium, you have all the bhavs of aparigraha. You always believe कि भाई मुझे ये नहीं करना है, एक दिन तो मुझे मरना ही है, एक दिन तो मेरी आत्मा ही रहेगी, मेरा शरीर तो जल जाएगा. But after you come back from the crematorium, you go home, you have your bath, and the next moment you forget what aparigraha was, what that sadness was, and you got back to your currents and all this aspects. So the lockdown is also going to be that for this period, you are going to think about aparigraha, you're going to think about philosophy, you're going to think about nirsara. But I'm sure once the lockdown is over, once the clubs are open, once the movies are open, and once you're not having the fear of corona, you are going to go for movies, you are going to go for hotels, you are going to go for clubs, you are going to go for various other activities which will increase your currents also. I think we will forget what happened in this 40 days.
Right. Thank you, Veer. Just give me one moment. Here. Ashok Ji Surana asks, what do you think about work from home culture? Because it's going to play a very important role post-COVID-19.
See, work from home culture is a very beautiful concept, I believe so, if you are staying single. The reason why I would say that is that work from home basically reduces the expenses of a company. An average 15 to 20,000 rupees is the cost for an MNC per seat which they have in their premises, in terms of rentals, in terms of facilities, electricity, water, snacks, etc., which they do. Around 18 to 25,000 is the cost which they incur per seat person. If they are able to shift you to working from home by giving you certain infrastructures, like if they give you a laptop worth 30,000 rupees and you're able to work from home and the connectivity, definitely they are going to save 25,000 rupees a month and they would love you to work from home. But please understand one important aspect, that most of the employees who are working from home are not really very happy. Because when you're working from home, your efficiency level comes down. Your kid is crying, you're busy, your mother-in-law is not well, your father-in-law is not well, your father is not well, mother is not well, or you take a break because you're at home. Some guest has come into and dropped into your house. You will have to give them time. Because of this lockdown, you're not having the impact of guests coming into your house because we are in a virtual world today. But the calls are coming in. So I don't think it is a very effective model as far as work from home is concerned. But in these situations, this is the most beautiful option. But when you come into MSME sectors, tell me frankly, how many of us have our data on a cloud so that we can access it from home and work? We are still based on our servers at our office. We're still not used to that work from home cultures, and that MSMEs are going to be affected. And that is only as far as the service providers are concerned. You cannot have a work from home for a barber shop. You'll have to go to the salon to look better. You will not have a work from home from a store wherein they're selling goods. That's not going to happen over there. The work from home is going to marginally shift your places of business. But yeah, travel and technology-based discussions are going to be huge. I was just listening to the HUL chairman of India. He said that every month they used to go to UK, London for a meeting. Now they have the meetings online and they're finding it much more effective and they're having more number of meetings. So you can understand that even your family is going to question you today to say, जब 40 दिन में आपने पूरा धंधा घर बैठ के कर दिया है, तो अभी आपको घूमने की क्या जरूरत है? Why do you have to travel? But for certain data, for certain interactions, you will have to travel also to understand the feeling. Today, if TPF is looking out for donation for the MBA college, I cannot say that I will do a video call or a Zoom call with all the donors and say them, please give us money. I think we will have to travel there and convince them and get the money across. So certain things can be done from home, certain things has to be based on travel.
Very well said, yeah. The next question that I'm taking up is from Chandrakant Kothari ji from Delhi. So he asked that what horizon do you see for salaried people, or what ratio you see in retention or appraisals of corporate salaries?
From the salary sectors for the people who are in employment, one, I would see that there would be a very strong appraisals by your corporate entities. The strong appraisals would be because they would like to believe that those who are good should be retained at any cost, and those who are not performing well or who are capable of performing but not performing well intentionally, there you would see that the appraisals would be very strong, wherein the pink slips may also be possible. The second aspect is that the corporate world, if you ask me frankly, the MNCs in India are not really affected with COVID-19 because most of them are making their employees work from home and most of them are still active. Still the works are happening, still the works are going much faster than what it used to happen in the companies. Because today, when you go to your company and work, your family feels you're working. And over there in the company, you can still avoid working. But when you're working from home and your family comes to know that you're not working, that is going to be a very bad impact on your personal lives also. So one thing that you can understand is that there's going to be pay cuts. The corporates are going to take shelter to say COVID-19 has come, our liquidity is down, our balance sheets are bad, etc. and all. So based on that, we are going to reduce the salaries. And if there's going to be a major job cuts which is happening, which 24% of unemployment is expected in India as per Motilalji Oswal's presentation, which he just gave 2 days back. I'm afraid to say that we are into tough times as far as employees are concerned. But please understand one important aspect. If you are a contributor to your organization, if you are doing really well, and if you are sincere, no organization can afford to release you from the jobs. They also have to survive. They cannot get a replacement for you for sure.
Great. Thank you, Via. I'm taking the last 5 questions, though we have many more questions coming in, but we'll take the last 5 questions. One question that I've got from Rashmi Singhi, modifying it a little bit to suit the taste of the discussion. So the question is, understanding the current scenario, do we see any cost cutting of religious organizations or the arrangements that we make as group of Shravaks? Do you see any cost cutting coming on that as well?
See, this is going to be based on each individual whether he's going to cut the cost or not. If you ask me, every month I used to do darshan of Gurudev, so I would still like to go there and do darshan, but COVID has stopped me from going. But once it is open, I would definitely like to go at least once in a month to do his darshan, whatever it costs me, because it gives me a positive energy. Now, the question which she's asking probably is about the social functions which are done, right, either in Dharam Sangh or in marriages. I would take it in both the aspects. Though she's asked only about the Dharam Sangh, I would take it into marriages also. I think it is time when wasteful expenditures are going to be cut drastically, not because of the fact that COVID is affected, but I think people have understood that they have to be shrewd enough to reserve cash. But when you're talking about a person who's worth 1,000 crores or 2,000 crores, and if he's going to have a wedding in his family, I'm sure he's going to spend his 50, 100 crores on the wedding. He's not going to be bothered about social costs. He's not going to be bothered about COVID and all that stuff. I think this is not going to happen. But when you're talking about religious places, I think religious places has to cut down on their cost. NGOs has to cut down on their cost. Social functions like entertainment also has to be cut down. This again, I would give the example of going to a crematorium and coming back. It sounds very beautiful today that we should cut down the cost, but once the things are opened out, once the money flow is happening, once the donations are coming, and then you would say that, yes, संस्था में ज्वाइन किया हुआ, entertainment नहीं था, भक्ति संध्या नहीं था, गीत नहीं था, कमल जी सेठिया नहीं आए तो मजा नहीं आया. So people will not come, and to attract those people, you'll have to still get back into your social relationships also. It's basically of how do you manage it across. I'm sure people would love to get the benefits of these things. See, a social expenditures, if you're doing, like you're doing a Sangeet Sandhya or something like that, or you're doing a Bhakti Geet or something, you're calling a religious Geet and all, for collecting donations. You will not get your donations if you're not doing that across. So that is not a wasteful expenditure. But if you're spending a lot of money on number of items, etc., I think we are blessed to be Therapanthis that we have very low cost in most of the activities that we do. And most of the jobs or most of the costs which are incurred are again to be reimbursed by us, and we have to pay that money to, whether it is in Chaturmas, you go and stay, or the food you eat. Yeah. Have we lost each other?
There was a phone call, so okay. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're audible.
Right. Thank you. We have a question from Mudit Jainji from Delhi. He asks, how long do you think the crisis will last, or what will be the real extent of the damage?
Okay. Again, this is a futuristic question. Keval Gyani banne mein bahut time hai mujhe. So I would not be able to answer this, nor I've got Abdi Gyan to basically answer this question. But from a common man's perspective, I think the the lockdown might be reopened, because understand one thing, that the lockdown is not curing the disease, it is only controlling the spread of the disease. You may have a few more lockdowns, in my opinion. Once it is open and once you feel that the impacts are going to happen, you will have your lockdowns again coming in till you have the remedy for the cure of the disease as such. Now, the next question of his was what? One is on the lockdown and the thing. The other impact was?
The other impact. Removed the question. Just give me one moment. Here it is. What do you think will be the real extent of the damage?
Damage, my personal view for MSMEs basically would be that we are behind by 2 years. But if you have got your life, you are living that extra life, so it is worth it. 2 years of your economic life is gone. That's it. Na baki ki zindagi to hai apne paas. Enjoy karo. But just see, in this 40 days, Mudit, how much have you given time to Shobna Bhabi? And how much time each of us have given to our family? How much of us have given the time of hearing to our kids, playing with them, being with them? I still failed in this objective because I have been around 7-8 hours away from my house every day morning. But believe me, still I've given some time. I've been in Bangalore. I've enjoyed the food at home. And I didn't miss any of the outside food which I used to eat around 20 days a month.
Nice. We have a question from Hemant Jain, Kolkata. So, do you think that it will help if the GST annual return and the new GST annex returns be deferred to next year? Because in this turbulent time, number of monthly returns both in GST and other acts have compiled.
Sir, what we are talking is about a procedure. The government may reduce the procedures today, but ultimately they will ask all the informations because they would be huge short of the targets. Already 25 to 30,000 crores of target collections is low in GST for the month of March. Okay. Now, in the month of April, you are going to have the impact of the lockdown of March, of that 15 days odd which we had. That impact is going to come into your April collections. So when the collections are going to be down, your deferment of taxes are going to happen till June. You can be rest assured that if the data, what they're asking, if they defer it also for 6 months or 1 year or 2 years also, they are going to scrutinize it. They are going to bulldoze over you because the government also has to survive and they don't have the money. Let us be very honest about it. We are a poor country, a poor government, a poor municipality, a poor state government.
Okay. There's a question from Vinod De Silva ji. He asks that, do you think that this crisis that we are in is going to be different than the 2008 liquidity crisis that we had?
You're talking from Indian perspective or global perspective? Let us understand this from two parameters. The 2008 crisis which you had globally was not having any impact on India, except in reduction of cost by the global companies in the name of global crisis. India still grew at around 6 to 8% growth per annum at that time in 2008. The GDP growth was good. So we did not have actually an impact in 2008 when the world was suffering. The world was suffering because of huge borrowings they were doing and the bad debts on those borrowings across. Now this crisis is, in terms of magnitude, at least 5 to 10 times more than the 2008 crisis. And that impact has also had on India. The first thing is the crisis of health, the crisis of life. The second is the crisis of economy. The third is the biggest crisis that we are having is that we do not know what is going to happen tomorrow. Are we going to have a spread? Is the numbers going to increase? Is it going to contract? Whether it's going to be spread very fast or slow? So this crisis today is much, much higher. I would put this crisis to what was the crisis in Kathmandu in Nepal in 2015. That time, whenever there used to be a tremor, there were 3 major tremors which happened in 2015. You had a 7.9, you had a 6.7, and you had a 7.3. But there were around 150 tremors which were much less than 5 Richter scale. Believe me, that 150 tremors gave much more fear than the 7.9 tremors in Kathmandu. Because when the 7.9 tremor happened, it was too short and the first time that we saw the tremor. But whenever the less than 5 Richter scale tremors happened, we all ran outside because we were not sure how big is the tremor. The same thing you could say with coronavirus also, to say that we do not know what is its actual impact. No government in the world knows it, no intelligence in the world knows it, and that is the reason why it's going to have a very high magnitude compared to the 2008. Sir.
Thank you, Via. There's a special announcement that I would like to make. The question answers we are stopping here only. So there's a special there's a announcement to make. Tomorrow 10 o'clock, कल सुबह 10 बजे हम लोग शिखर स्वर में श्री गौतम जी चौरड़िया जो जज हैं हाई कोर्ट ऑफ छत्तीसगढ़ के, उनको सुनेंगे। तो आज जो सेशन नहीं हुआ था अपना, वो कल सेशन होगा अपना सुबह 10 बजे शिखर स्वर में, टीपीएफ शिखर स्वर में। अब मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा हमारे एनडब्ल्यूसी के मेंबर श्री लक्ष्मी लाल जी गांधी को कि वो आए और वोट ऑफ थैंक्स के लिए लक्ष्मी जी गांधी अंकल
जय जिनेंद्र गांधी साहब।
क्या बोलूं मैं आपको संजय भाई, आज तो आपने गजब ही कर दिया है। मतलब इतना करंट अफेयर्स के अंदर ये सब्जेक्ट आपने चूज किया, निश्चित रूप से टीपीएफ के लिए एक स्वर्णिम अवसर था ये। फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल मैं नेशनल टीम के हमारे आदरणीय निर्मल जी साहब को मैं जय जिनेंद्र करना चाहूंगा, और आज के हमारे की नोट स्पीकर आदरणीय धरीवाल साहब का मैं बहुत बहुत आभार व्यक्त करना चाहूंगा। और जो मुझे एक काम दिया है, काम तो क्या है, एक समअप करने के लिए, वोट ऑफ थैंक्स देने के लिए, निश्चित रूप से संजय भाई आज आपने जो एक लोगों को जो एक जानकारी दी है कोविड-19 से एसएमई और इंडिविजुअल्स को क्या इफेक्ट पड़े हैं, और मेरा खुद का सब्जेक्ट है क्योंकि मैं बैंक से रिलेटेड हूं, और जिस ढंग से आपने इसको परिभाषित किया है 2015 में नेपाल यात्रा के साथ में आपने इसका कंपेयर किया, निश्चित रूप से आपके कोई आसानी नहीं है कि कहाँ वो 2015 का किस तरह 7.5 और 8 का रेक्टिव था, और इधर अपना जो इंडिया में आज की तारीख में 17,265 हमारे केसेज पॉजिटिव है, और वहाँ 543 हमारी डेथ केस है। उनको देखते हुए राजस्थान में भीलवाड़ा ने जो एक काम किया है, निश्चित रूप से मैं कहना चाहूंगा भीलवाड़ा एक अलग से उदाहरण बन गया है। इस तरह की अगर अवेयरनेस आती है तो निश्चित रूप से एक कोविड-19 का असर हमारे भीलवाड़ा का अगर सामने रख अगर करते हैं तो कोई दिक्कत वाली बात ना आएगी। और आपने अपनी बात स्टार्ट की थी, मैं आप ही के शब्द आपको वापस रेंडर करना चाहूंगा कि वेबिनार स्पंदन में जो आज का सब्जेक्ट था कोविड-19 इम्पैक्ट एसएमई एंड इंडिविजुअल, उसमें आपने जो बात कही है वह मेरे दिल को छू गई है। आपने जो बताया बाई कोविड से हम अवेयर हो सकते हैं, फ्रॉम कोविड से हम कभी भी अवेयर नहीं हो पाएंगे, ये बात मुझे बहुत ही अच्छी लगी है। और आज की इस तारीख में लगभग 5,000 से अधिक आपके फॉलोअर्स, आपके हमारे अपने टीपीएफ के मेंबर और अदर मेंबर्स आपसे जुड़े हुए हैं, और आपने जो ये जानकारी दी है निश्चित रूप से मन को छूने वाली है। और जहां तक सवाल है, अभी क्वेश्चन आंसर जो आए हैं भाई सलील जी लोढ़ा का, संजय जी जैन का, और हमारे आदरणीय जनरल जैन का, और उसके साथ ही महेश जी आदि, इन लोगों ने जो क्वेश्चन किए हैं बहुत ही शानदार कोविड मतलब किया है, अपने कंसेप्ट क्लियर करने के लिए जो क्वेश्चन किए हैं, और आपने जिस ढंग से उनको समाहित करते हुए आंसर दिए हैं, और उसके अलावा भी जो आपने कोविड के लिए एरिया जो बताए हैं, उन एरिया में अगर हम अपना ध्यान रखेंगे तो निश्चित रूप से हम, ये तो ठीक है कुछ समय विशेष के लिए एक ऐसा अवसर आया है, हम अपनी इकोनॉमी से थोड़ा सा डिक्रीज किए हैं, और ये समय तो आ जाएगा, परंतु आज इस समय हम अपने सारे परिवार के साथ में बैठे हैं, ये एक अच्छा मौका आया है। और जहां आचार्य महाप्रज्ञ जी की जन्म शताब्दी का वर्ष है, और अभी हमने 11वां जो है महाप्रयाण दिवस मनाया ही है, और उसमें स्वयं आचार्य श्री ने तो ये बात पहले ही कह दी थी कि एक ऐसा वायरस आएगा सब कुछ ऊपर नीचे कर देगा, और वही स्थिति आज हमारे सामने आई है। ये कुछ समय विशेष का जो ड्रॉबैक लगा है, हालांकि इसके लिए मैं बैंकिंग साइड से हूँ, और ये बात कहना चाहूंगा एसएमई अभी लास्ट 6-8 महीने से वैसे भी डाउन में चल रही थी, और उसके बाद में आरबीआई ने जो जिस तरह की जो बूस्टर डोज,
गांधी जी आवाज नहीं आ रही है आपकी, मेरे ख्याल से नेटवर्क में शायद कहीं कोई इश्यू है। But anyways, Sanjay Bhaiya, thank you so much. I'll sum up what you were trying to say. Thank you so much to all the participants who has joined in.
Thanks TPF and Swell for educating me how to use the Zoom properly. As a speaker, I think this was my first Zoom presentation. Thank you. And I thank TPF, the whole team, for giving me an opportunity to coming back to the family and sharing my views. And Michami Dugnam, Kamat Khavna, agar koi bhi galti hui ho, bolchal mein ya the views mein, or I would have been a little harsh. Thank you very much.
थैंक यू सो मच भैया, और थैंक यू सब सारे के सारे पार्टिसिपेंट्स को। मैं आप लोगों को रिक्वेस्ट करना चाहूंगा फिर से, कल सुबह 10 बजे शिखर स्वर में श्री गौतम जी चौरड़िया को सुनेंगे हम लोग, साथ में फिर कल 3:15 बजे स्पंदन में हम नए स्पीकर को सुनेंगे। और एक रिक्वेस्ट है आप सबको कि आपके आसपास में, आपके जान पहचान में कोई भी तेरापंथी प्रोफेशनल हो जो अभी तक मेंबर नहीं बने हैं, उन्हें जरूर मेंबरशिप की तरफ प्रेरित करें। और ये जो इतने शानदार वेबिनार्स हो रहे हैं, संजय जी जैसे इतने बढ़िया शानदार हमारे पास में स्पीकर्स आ रहे हैं, उन स्पीकर्स के बारे में इंफॉर्मेशन जरूर समाज में हर किसी तक पहुंचाएं ताकि ज्यादा से ज्यादा लोग उसका फायदा उठा सकें। इसी के साथ में बहुत बहुत थैंक यू। कल सुबह 10 बजे फिर मिलते हैं।
Thank you very much.